Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm in Austin, Texas, and I'm at the home of Emmasaurus. So this is their massive city here. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, then we'll dive into the city.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Emily from Emmasaurus.
And I'm Ross, also from Emmasaurus.
Here we go. And so you're the duo that have set this all up here, and there's even more than this that we'll see later in the video, but this is a great place to start because you've got this whole fantastic Lego city. So tell us kind of where this started before we start taking a look at the street level.
Gosh. Yeah, so it's kind of a long story with our Lego city. It started in a different bedroom in the house, and we'll actually go look at it later on. It's now our Lego Star Wars guest bedroom. And we ran out of space, so we decided instead of using this as a master bedroom, we thought it'd be a lot more fun to have it be a Lego city and sleep in a really tiny room instead. So yeah, that's kind of how this started. We painted the walls, just like got it all ready to have it be like a really fun Lego city room, installed the lighting, the storage, bought all the IKEA tables and legs and just moved everything in here. And really what we wanted was, we're not really super big mock builders. We're trying to get there, but most of what you'll see here are like the official modular buildings. And we try to like tell stories through the minifig placement, the Marvel, like Ross is a huge Marvel fan. And then our dog's name is Ladybird. So this is downtown Ladyburg. On the Daily Bugle, we switched out the name to say Ladybird instead with like the little bone in there. Just, we love our dog. So this is her Lego city actually. But yeah, we started with the downtown area. There's like a forest going on. Just a lot of different parts of Texas where we're located. Just trying to bring in like our Texas heritage into here and just make it kind of fun and local and have all these different references. And then I'm from Orlando, so doing a Disney World was kind of important to me. I just like love color, Disney, so half the city's that. I'm trying to convince him to make it all Disney World, but he won't let me, so.
She's almost won that fight.
Disney always wins out.
Yeah, Disney, the mouse always wins.
I love what you said earlier, though, about sacrificing the living space for the Lego space. I think a lot of fans can really...
Yeah, so this actually, weirdly enough, so this was our master bedroom. It still is technically the master bedroom, but Emily really kind of wound me down and, said, like, we need to make our city bigger. Let's move our bedroom to the small guest bedroom, and we'll make this the giant Lego city. And even then, we're starting to get to a point where I'm kind of worried we're going to run out of space again. So we'll see. We might have to knock down some walls here and there, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I love it. We can start in with this section, kind of take a more detailed look here. So you mentioned the customized sign on the Daily Bugle there. So what else do we have with this kind of modular section?
Yeah, so when we started like with Lego in general, I think our first set was the Parisian restaurant. And from there, we just started expanding. I only got into it in like 2017, 2018. So all the modulars from before that, we just didn't have them. So slowly we've been collecting them through time and, just trying to make it fun and as unique as possible in the downtown area while also having these be official Lego sets and just trying to make it as creative, but, it's also very recognizable. And so, yeah, like on the corner in the front here, we have the Palace Cinema, and something we actually took from this set that I really liked was the stars in the front and having that, like, the Walk of Fame out there. We took that idea and used it as, like, a perk for our YouTube channel members over in Disney World, and we'll go check that out later, too. But just trying to tie into two areas. And then along the front, we have just trying to make it just fun and different. I love, like, Germany. I actually used to live there. So, like, having this assembly square there with, like, Pretzel Girl out front was really important to me. And then on the other side, on that corner, we have the corner garage. And we actually have two of the corner garage. So we call it the edge garage, I think.
It's a whole side garage.
Yeah, it's the side garage now. We built them mirrored. I thought it'd be kind of fun, kind of different, while also like just having more corner modulars in our city because we were really lacking that at the time. We haven't really modified them beyond just mirroring them. So I do want to like add more to that going forward. But I kind of like how it turned out. It's just, kind of different. I think it looks kind of nice next to each other. And then the taco truck in the front there. I love the Friends stuff, but I'm more so into like the individual builds. Like a lot of the, like the normal Friends buildings are a little bit empty in the back. And so, I love the taco truck and like the different vehicles from Friends are just really fun and colorful. And then looking in the middle over here, we have a really kind of like fun thing with the road plate going on. So there's like a parking space to the left. And that's kind of where Amazon can drop off their packages or whatever, just trying to, again, make it as different as possible while also having it be like, an official Lego set city. So yeah, Ross has been a huge help in a lot of the road plate work. The tiles over here are actually an extension from the Grand Emporium, yes.
There's a lot of modular buildings. It's hard to keep track.
I'm doing my best, right? There's so many. So yeah, an extension from the Grand Emporium, that tile pattern, and just kind of like extending it down because I kind of liked that. I wanted something kind of fun there for like a farmer's market or something outside, Marvel Avengers battles or whatever, whatever we feel like throughout the holidays. And so yeah, I am really happy with how that one turned out too.
I like this kind of parking pull-off space you mentioned. Great use of kind of like the corner tiles, the triangle tile pieces there to kind of make that edge and that curve, and you're able to add a section off of the road because that's something you would see in a lot of roads, kind of a pull-off area.
Yeah, so, just trying to make it realistic and, as much as I hate, parallel parking, I feel like that is a realistic thing in most cities. So it's kind of nice having that here as well.
You've also got some various vehicles represented. This Toy Story one is actually something you don't see real often. That was, I feel like, kind of an overlooked set.
Yeah, the Toy Story stuff is so much fun. And we actually just picked up the train from Toy Story 3, right? A Toy Story 3 set. So we'll take a look at that later on. I was so excited to pick that up at Brick Rodeo. But yeah, just having like all of my favorite IP in the city is, I don't know, it just makes it more special. And it's kind of fun pointing out all the little weird things. Like on the other side as well, we have a car filled with little pigs, and it's just the kind of thing you don't see it at first because it's a pink car. It kind of blends in, but I don't know, it just makes me smile when I see it.
One of the things I kind of wanted to talk about too is mills. So we went with the mill system. I don't think I did it right, the right dimensions, but it's still there. And this is something we knew when we wanted to move the city over to the bedroom. We wanted to do it right, and I wanted to do mills plates because I wanted to add depth. Well, what ended up happening is that we just spent all this money lifting everything, and then we almost did nothing with the mills. But one thing I am very proud of is over there by the juice market is this little subway station I did. This was like a good representation of what you could do with mills, and so I put like a black plate down there, but I love the depth. So it actually really does look like a little subway station that goes down. So I'm pretty proud of that one. That's like the only custom thing really so far in the city. Working on more, but yeah, I will say the new like road plates really helps like with the mills system a lot. I really like how it you can incorporate it, but it gets pricey. I think it's almost I think you can price it out to almost $25 for one single plate just to get all the tiles to get the roads in, and we have options to like cheaper things. Like we'll always check the pick a brick wall. We have a bricks and minifigs nearby that we always like scalp for different plates and stuff. But yeah, it is something that's not totally cheap, but I am very proud of how it's looking. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of money to get to it.
And this is a good time to mention for people who aren't familiar with it. MILLS is just an acronym basically that stands for a type of building that gives you that depth that you were talking about. And so instead of just building on the basics like the blue base plates that you see over here, you actually build it up a little bit, and then you're able to create more.
Right, exactly. And the idea is, and you can kind of see it on the side, is that you take a base plate and then you raise it by a brick and then at least one more plate, and then you have these kind of like pin pieces that you can use to connect them. Kind of makes it hard sometimes, but in the end, it helps from shifting your sets everywhere. And you see it a lot of time at conventions too. A lot of people, city builders, will use it just so that way everybody's is in line with each other. So if you have multiple people building parts of the city or any mock really, it's like a system that everybody can use to integrate everything together.
Yeah, we just saw that. So we're shooting this right after Brick Rodeo happened here in Austin, and the Texas Brick Railroad layout that was at Brick Rodeo uses that system to great effect.
Right, exact. Man, that was a beautiful, beautiful mock. I couldn't stop staring at it. Every time I went by and saw it, I'm like, wow, there's new things here. There had to be. It was really nice. Over here, this is kind of our Ninjago city. We're still, trying to find city docks. That set just seems to be really elusive, but we do have gardens and just the normal city. And then this is kind of like our big like ocean harbor party boat scene. We got the Flamoti over there. Party barge. Friends, just if you like to party with Lego, Friends sets is definitely where you want to be. And then so we're working on it. We're like trying to gather all the translucent tiles we can, going to different pickup bricks and just seeing, at the convention you can actually at yard sale find some stuff like that. So eventually we want to get all of this nice and tiled up, but it's a pipe dream one day. And then this is the part that I'm really the most proud of is I worked on this like little forest scene and this river. So something, if you're familiar with Central Texas, that we do is we like to tube the San Marcos and the Guadalupe River a lot. And all that means is you get on a tube and you float down the river for 3 hours and you just, you have drinks and you enjoy company. And so when those little, I guess, ducks or flamoti looking things came out and at Lego and like the build a minifigure section, I had to get them. So I just stacked up on them and, got a whole bunch of little bathing suit people and just got them all down the river. And then, so after I built this little Mills River system, I was like, oh, we should really up the forest. And I wanted to include all sorts of different intellectual properties in it. So if you look around, you'll see some cool stuff, some Lego property, as well as some official properties. We have like the Winnie the Pooh set. We have some Lord of the Rings troll kind of hiding, some Scooby-Doo. I love Adventure Time. So we have this whole little scene with all the Adventure Time characters from Dimensions. And then we have one of the goat sets, which is the Ewok Village. And I really wanted to incorporate that in a way where we could put the bridge over the river. So people floating on the river would be going under the Battle of Endor at the same time. And then, kind of behind it, you can see there's the Unexpected Gathering. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I'm in the process of trying to get all those sets too. And so, yeah, the idea is I want to put everything in here. Tower of Orthanc is actually going to be the next set that I want to erect up here and just have a massive presence. So really love it. It's the idea. That's what I really love about Lego is the idea that you can incorporate all these different intellectual properties that you'll never see together, less the Lego movie, which again is Lego. So this is just like my favorite. This part of the city makes me so happy. And this is the part that Emily's not allowed to touch.
I love how when you thought, okay, what am I going to represent with like the local culture in Texas? It's floating down the river in a tube.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, that hits the closest to home to me. And, I grew up floating down the river all the time. So I was like, I need to incorporate this in here. And anybody who knows what that is, if you're ever in Central Texas, definitely check it out. And everybody loves it. So I'm really happy. I want to actually extend it more now because I've gotten a lot of nice compliments. That makes me feel nice. So I might try to make it even longer.
Now, Emily, I know you're a really big Scooby-Doo fan. We'll see a lot more of that later on in the video, but there are a few things for you here as well.
Yes, yeah. So he let me have a little bit of creative freedom with this area. And also, he really wanted to have an ocean. And so, of course, I had to bring in my Scooby boats, and that was number one. We have, the Scooby Lighthouse to this side of, the Lego Ideas treehouse. They just make me happy, anytime I find Scooby sets at Bricks and Minifigs or online, I'm just like, these are now mine. Thank you. I will buy anything Scooby. So they just make me happy. We have some SpongeBob over there as well. So yeah, just trying to incorporate all of what we love into the city, because it's our city. We want it to be different and fun and just, make us happy. And that's kind of where we're at right now with it. We do want to extend the ocean and make it a little bit better. I've seen some really cool movement, with the waves, and that would be cool. I don't know how to do that, so that'll be a learning process. But just trying to learn and grow through time, and I'm really happy with where it's at so far.
I think that's a really important thing to point out for people. Anyone building, cities or even their own mocks, whatever it might be at home, is to just have fun with it. You don't have to live up to someone else's standard or look at what other people are doing to be oh, that's what I have to copy. This is just your setup. It's in your home, so if you're not having fun with it, well then no one else is going to.
Right? No, exactly. And that's what I say all the time about content creation. It's just as long as you're having fun. I'm playing with Lego all day. This is my full-time job. If I'm not having fun with it, I've messed up, I need to have a blast with it. And so, there's also jokes we've heard, oh, our Lego cities sets on a table, and we're thinking about making that into a shirt at some point or something. Cause a lot of people who are more into mocks are well, these are just Lego sets on a table. But you're still creative with how you're setting them up and what different stories you're telling with everything. And so it's just sets on a table, but it's our sets on a table. So it makes us happy.
No, that works very well, but we can keep going around the corner here then. So I think we're getting more into the amusement park section that you kind of mentioned earlier.
Oh, yes. So again, I'm from Orlando. Disney is a huge part of me. I love Disney so much. And so we had to do something like that in the Lego City. The Disney Castle was actually one of my first Lego sets. That was the first thing I bought with my first paycheck from my first big girl job. So that was exciting. Dropping 300 was kind of crazy, but so worth it. I love that set so much. I actually have two now. I'm going to do a rubricable at some point. But yeah, so in Disney World, we, Magic Kingdom is definitely the inspiration here. Down the middle middle, you can see kind of like the stars stickers. That's like what we call a walk of fame with a bunch of different shops going on there. You know, the friend sets are perfect for Disney because they're just so colorful and just vibrant and fun. And they have balconies where you can put like Mickey waving to people outside. Like on the other side, I think there's like Peter Pan saying hello. But yeah, like we've really started planning it out here, and you know, the plans have just kind of started. Really, like I think a week or two, maybe a month ago, we started with the base plates. So that's kind of where we're at, and then just like finding out where the best place to place like our little castles are, like the Play Scale, Frozen Castle, the Bells Castle. Just trying to tell a story, having it make sense, like having, you know, like there's like sorority row with all the sorority houses, like princess row, you know, and just having like all the different princess houses, castles right next to each other, so you can do meet and greets, see all the favorite princesses and say hello to them, that kind of thing. So that's kind of like in this back corner here.
So I know you referenced the stars earlier, but tell me a little bit more about kind of what that represents and how those work.
Yeah. So on YouTube, you have like channel members. You know, it's a way for people to support you as a creator. And so one of the things we thought of like when we first started with YouTube was like, or, you know, started with the memberships was like, well, Disney World, a walk of fame, like how cool would it be to like print out people's names on these stickers? And to be fair, I am a little bit behind, so that's not everybody, but that's, you know, the idea is there, and we're, you know, it's always a work in progress. I need to get like 12 construction cranes in here so it like shows that it's a work in progress. But yeah, you know, as people join, you make stickers and put their name on it, and it's just a way to kind of thank them, and they can see it in the city updates, and it's just kind of special to it. Like it's really fun, it's different, like we get a lot of comments on that, so that was, I don't know, I'm kind of proud of that idea. That was really fun.
It's great to make it more interactive and people feel like they're part of the experience then.
Yeah, like it's kind of like sig figs, except like you're printed on a sticker, you know, it's the same kind of thing. Like a lot of people will do that, but we thought the stickers were kind of fun.
Now, are these all operational, all the rides right now, or do you have some of them hooked up?
Yeah. So right now, I don't think we have enough motors for everything. I see a motor in here, but I don't think it's actually hooked up. So yeah, we won't play with that one right now. But the big new loop coaster is hooked up, so that one's really cool. Some of them are hooked. I don't remember which ones are or aren't, but definitely the loops are. That one's definitely hooked up right now. And the goal is to have everything motorized through time, like the carousel, the Ferris wheel, the red roller coaster, maybe not the small one. We'll see. I don't know. It's kind of easy to crank it, so we'll figure it out as we go. But just having that motion involved, as well as like lighting eventually would be kind of nice. Like lighting up the Disney Castle, there's some really cool light kits for that, and just, you know, trying to bring it to life a little bit more, because, you know, like in amusement parks, you see everything moving, and I don't know, just having that motion really takes it to the next level, I think.
Yeah. So as we go around the corner here, you can talk about the train track you have as well. Looks like you've got a couple of different trains running around here right now.
Yeah. So back here we have our Disney train, and I was so excited when this came out in 2019. Like I love Disney, you know, obviously I love Disney so much, and it's kind of nice like being able to which way does this open? Oh, there we go. It's like kind of backwards, but you can put all the different characters in there and just like have them waving as it goes around the city, and just, you know, things that you would see at Disney World. We try to incorporate that. You know, even with like Mario in the front there, we'll take a better look as we go around the table. But as the trains go around, it's kind of more an experience for the people riding the train, like seeing this mystical Mario world kind of thing, like trying to keep in mind, if you're a passenger on the train, like, what are you seeing, like, down at this level, instead of us being, like, you know, 3 feet above the city? Like, what are the minifigs looking at? So just trying to keep it all in perspective that way, too.
Sure, that works really well, and this looks fantastic. I love the colorful buildings there along the Walk of Fame.
Yeah. So along the Walk of Fame there, Ross is pointing it out here. Andrea's Theater School is one of the new friend sets, and as soon as that was announced, as soon as the Muppets were announced, they were like, oh, we need a theater. And then, you know, this theater was announced, and everyone's like, put the Muppets in the theater. Perfect. And so that one's just, it's really nice, like tiling outside of it. And like, you know, again, we're not like really into mocks yet. Like I want to be, and modifying the friend sets is kind of our first way of going about that, and just kind of bringing them to life, like making them make sense in a Lego City setting. Cause a lot of them are more like play sets, like it's not meant for a city. It's meant as
facades, a lot of them. So you can, it's easy to add on.
Yeah. It's kind of like a dollhouse almost is like kind of how I look at them. So, you know, there's no backing. It just doesn't make sense. Like the modulars are for cities. Like the friend sets, not so much, but like modifying them as like a first step into mocks has been so much fun. So I've really enjoyed that. And then also like in Disney World, it's easier incorporating them here because, you know, Disney, not to like ruin the magic, but, you know, it's not like a real thing, like it's a show, right? And so like, it's different there. Like it makes sense. Like you're putting on a show, you're hiding things from the public that you don't want them to see. And so it's kind of nice, like, in the back of the theater school, that's, different stage things going on, and just, I don't know, taking that into consideration too. Like it doesn't need to be a perfect building either. Like you're hiding the magic, or, you're showing off the magic, hiding the things you maybe don't want people to see as much, but yeah, it's turned out really well. And then kind of like along this pathway here, we try to think about, again, like what the minifigs are doing in here. And so you can see like the dolphins kind of, there's like a walkway under them. And so, as minifigs are walking through there, it's like, oh, wow, I'm under the dolphins. Like, how magical is that? Like, I would imagine there'd be like little fountains or something in the city that they're like, wow, like there's water above me. Like, this is kind of cool. So yeah, just trying to, I don't know. It's Lego. It's, a still static thing, but just trying to think about like, how can we bring it to life a little bit more? So that's been really nice. Yeah.
For sure, that works great. And then as we move more this direction, you got some more kind of amusement park rides. You got the carousel, and then obviously the giant loop coaster that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So we have the carousel there, and like something I thought would be kind of fun, again, like trying to venture into like mock building, is switching out like those creatures, like all the different animals on there, and having it be like little Star Wars ships or like rocket ships or something. Because like in this back corner, there's not much yet. Again, we need like cranes in here or something to show like it's under construction. But having like a space area, there's like so many different space sets that are just really cool. Like even having like some Toy Story or Lightyear kind of Disney space kind of stuff. And so like kind of venturing that over like into Star Wars a little bit. So having like little Luke's land speeders going around the carousel would be kind of cool. But yeah, like it's been really fun, like planning it out and having it be Disney World, but like our version of it. We don't want it to be like a direct representation of Disney World, but just kind of taking what we like about Disney and what we want it to be. It's like Disney inspired. So we're actually trying to come up with a new name for it, but it's just Disney World still. Like trying to make it our own, but.
Sounds like this is Ross's opportunity for a Marvel-themed carousel to switch some stuff out.
That would be awesome. Yeah, like you can kind of see in the front over there. We have the Sanctum, and then the Avengers Tower next to it. And so trying to do like an Avengers campus kind of thing, like at Disneyland, but still a work in progress. But it'd be kind of fun having like Spider-Man flying between them or something. Just, I don't know, having fun with motors would be pretty cool up there.
Now, this is the first time I've seen the loop coaster in person. So can this run right now?
Yeah, do you want to run?
Sure,
okay.
Yeah.
So we have the motor kind of set up over there. And yeah, let's hope for the best. Sometimes the minifigs do go flying, so it keeps it entertaining. I think it keeps it fun. But yeah, this set, I wish it didn't go so fast. Like it ends, so quickly. But it's impressive. I love the new loop pieces. There's so many new elements in this set, and it's just very creative. Like I don't know. I'm excited to see what people are able to do with these new elements, especially like the roller coaster builders. Some of them have been creative enough to figure out the loops without these new pieces. So now that we actually have an easy way to do that, I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Mm-hmm. Look at that, working flawlessly the whole time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no minifigs have gone to their death. That is good.
No, these are so much fun to look at. I mean, just the entertainment value, even though, like you said, it does go really quickly, but it's just crazy to think of Lego being able to achieve that.
Right? No, it blows my mind. And like even when the red roller coaster came out, like, to be fair, I think Ross built most of that one. I was like, you have fun. It doesn't look like a fun build, but I mean, it's just so fun to look at. And it's the kind of thing like when people come over, they're like, wait, it actually goes? Like you can turn it on? Oh my God. Like, wow, this is so cool. So, it's kind of fun being able to share that with like friends too when they come over, and just sharing our hobby with them a little bit more. It's, we like to show them the impressive stuff. So they're really fun builds.
That kind of takes us to the front here where we switch genres a little bit and we get into more of the Mario stuff.
Yeah, so this is kind of our hot take, but we're pretty big fans of the Lego Mario wave, mostly for the figures. I would love to see minifigure Mario stuff, but I really like the scale here. It's totally unique to Lego. I love the whole collab that Nintendo and Lego did. So we have every single Lego Super Mario set, and it's, again, mostly for the figures. Usually we just kind of part out the rest of the set after we play with it once or twice. So this is our failed mock. This is what we were hoping to bring to Brick Rodeo. things got away from us, and so we just never were able to do it. But the plan was all around kind of this area. We were going to have different terrains from the different games. So here it's kind of the Mushroom Kingdom, and then it'll go into Dry Desert, and then we were going to have Bowser's Castle, Luigi's Mansion, and it was too ambitious of a project, but mostly because we ran out of pieces by this point. But I'm really proud of how we were able to line up some of these sets and get them incorporated into this cool way like this. And there's actually something really cool I'm going to show you right now. I'm really proud of this. It took a lot of engineering, but I was able to get the piranha plant to actually move with a motor system.
Look at that.
Yeah, it was about a week's worth. I had this problem. I took it to my coworkers. They're all engineers, and we all just kind of sat there and started looking up gear work and oh wait, we could because I was I want it to just turn on a motor. I don't want to program anything. And yeah, we were able to figure out a way to get this piranha plant to come up and down out of the pipe, and so. Probably the most proud thing I've ever done. I'm very, very happy with it.
One of your greatest achievements up to this point.
Exactly. It's actually kind of fitting when I was a kid, I was in the Lego robotics clubs at school. And that's kind of, I was always into Lego as far as I can remember, but I remember thinking at the time, oh man, you can learn to code. And I was in the 3rd grade. Ended up, I understood everything from that Lego robotics, and it actually helped me out in life and college and everything. And I was able to apply what I had learned from Lego robotics so I can get, a big boy job so I can afford Lego again. And I was almost wondering, was that Lego's plan this whole time, to get us to learn employable skills just so we can continue to buy Lego? And so whoever made the Lego robotics at Lego, good job. You got me hooked. And so, yeah, again, I really love this. There's a new wave coming out soon. I'm super stoked on it with Peach's Castle. I think we are going to try to incorporate that in. But for the most part, this will probably be the end of Mario. So we might just do this whole line if we can, and that'll be it for a while. But absolutely love the Lego Mario stuff. Huge fan.
So this theme has had a mixed reception among fans and AFOLs. Brix O'Brien, Brian Saviano does a lot of stuff for us. Massive Mario fan, has been very public about that. He's shared a lot of his thoughts on the channel, but I wanted to get your thoughts as well in terms of what you think of the figures. Are you really wanting actual minifigures? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, so for AFOLs, I understand completely why it's not liked. You talk to Lego about it, and they'll tell you it wasn't designed for AFOLs. It was designed for a completely new market. It's not even, I don't even think it was designed for Lego fans completely. It was more designed for Mario fans to incorporate them in, which we are also Mario fans. So I think that's kind of why. Initially, I think I was disappointed when I found out it wasn't going to be minifigures. But after kind of seeing them for this long, I really love these things. I like collecting all the different color Yoshis. I love all the different colored Toads and everything. However, I will say, kind of in the vein of the Sonic set that came out earlier this year, I would love to see something similar to that with minifigure scales. I would like to think that we could live in a world where we could have both the scales of Mario, not just one or the other. So here's to hoping, right?
And before we leave the city, I wanted to point out, I know you kind of referenced this section in the middle, but I don't know if John could see it very good earlier. So I wanted to make sure that you were able to point out some of the details there as well.
Yes. So we were able to incorporate the Encanto house. It was funny. That set, I remember being on shelves for a while. Nobody was getting it. And then when that movie came out, we couldn't find it for months. Someone actually sent it to Emily. That was the only way we were able to get it. And so, we kind of incorporated in the mill system in the same vein as the Disney Friends, or the Friends in the Disney Princess line. And then right next to it is one of my all-time favorite sets, the Unexpected Gathering or Unexpected Journey. And I've just been trying to slowly collect all the Lord of the Rings sets one by one. They're so expensive now, but I'm really excited for the new Amazon Lord of the Rings show that's coming out. And I figured, I've played this game a lot. I understand that if something comes out and there's an old Lego IP, you better try to get it before it starts coming out, because I guarantee you once that new show on Amazon comes out, all these sets are just going to go through the roof even more. And so, yeah, I really love that one. And then over to the left of the Unexpected Gathering is the kind of like another kind of Austin thing. So this is actually a Friends set that we incorporated that came with the taco food truck. And this is something we do a lot, is go to a lot of food trucks around. It's a pretty big thing here in Austin. And so we were like, oh, we should have like a food truck park and be able to go eat and have a good time with it. And then right next to it, this one's actually Emily's build. So we took a friend's set and we made a dog park out of it. And every time I see like little molded dogs or animals in general, I always try to grab them. So we had all these dogs. And we thought, wow, this would be funny. We could make a dog park with like this friend set. We put like a little pug on a kite there on the top just to kind of have it twirling around. And so, again, we love our dogs. We're dog people for sure. I even wear a dog mom hat most of the time. And so we just wanted a way to pay another homage to the puppies.
I love that. Yeah, there's some great little details and scenes in there as well. So I wanted to make sure we could show those easier. And then on this side of the room, we've actually got some pieces. So it looks like maybe some work in progress stuff.
Yeah, so this is the shame side of the room. We don't often show this side when we do our videos, so you kind of caught us off guard. No, I'm just joking. But
this is why we come here.
So this is the part of Lego that we both really struggle with. We have a hard time with organizing things. Oftentimes we leave things out and forget about them, and then we're like, where was that piece from 3 months ago? I know I left it on the floor over there. Why is it not there anymore? So we've been getting some help from friends on, advice on how to organize it. I think for the most part, it just comes out to, we just need more drawers and maybe a label maker might help us out. A lot of the times we get most of our bricks from the pick-a-brick wall. And so what usually happens is we get a lot of one kind of brick, so it's really hard to like sort that unless we have like a lot of large tubs. But you can kind of see down here, these aren't full, but we have a few, just different kinds of pieces where we keep everything. These are kind of Technic Mindstorm stuff. And then more of the small pieces we put in here. We're trying our best, but any advice is welcome. Because we have no idea what we're doing when it comes to this side. I think this is honestly like the biggest barrier of entry for us when it comes to mocks is just understanding how to organize pieces. Because there's times I'm really inspired. I know what I want to make, especially after going to both Brick World Chicago and Brick Rodeo. I have all these great ideas, and I'm like, I don't know where the rock pieces are. I don't know where anything is. I don't even know what I have. So that's kind of where it's at with that. So yeah, this is the work in progress area, but we've got it pretty like, let's leave it all here. So we don't want, oftentimes we'll accidentally start putting sets and leave it on the city, and then it just looks like a mess. But we're like, let's at least just centralize it over here. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And then over here, you can see this is another always controversial thing in the Lego community. Do you keep your boxes or do you light them on fire? And we kind of decided one day, we had so many boxes. And so we just, we spent a whole day like just going through our sets, taking all the old sets out of the boxes, put them in Ziploc bags, label them, put them away. And then these are just the boxes we decided to keep. I'll kind of point out, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, and I'm one of those like prequel bros. I love anything Clone Wars. Yeah, I'm all about it.
I don't know if I wasn't aware that was a term. But.
Oh yeah, you'll see them more. But yeah, man, I'm just I can't get enough prequel sets and Clone Wars sets. So I keep all of my from when I was a kid. I keep all my sets. They're not in the best condition, but I absolutely love them. And you'll see more of my Star Wars collection here soon. But yeah, so that's kind of where it's at. And then the other thing, this is also almost a little embarrassing to show. But I'm going to pull it back. So this is something we came up with. We had a problem in this room. It was very echoey, and it kind of still is. And so, we put up these little boards and everything. But something we kind of learned is like, wow, Lego just reflects, audio right back at you. It makes it really hard to hear in here. It's not the best. So we were like, well, we could put more stuff. And we're like, oh, why don't we put like a curtain around here? It'll absorb some things. And then we're like, well, now we have a place to hide everything. So now if you take it off, this is actually our backlog as well as some of our other sets. Again, I was ashamed to show you, but at the same time, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Like a lot of my rare sets that I've collected over the years is all kind of buried under the table. We do a little bit of investing, but not enough to really call us investors of Lego. But we do, if we find some good deals on sets, we'll stack up on it. We actually, Costco's kind of changed the game lately, because they'll have sets at like 20 or 30% off, like new sets. So we got like 3 of the Boba Fett's Palace for 20% off. And so, that's kind of the level of investing we do.
I think that's common with a lot of fans. Obviously, it's an expensive hobby for most people, and so if you can find a way to make a little bit of money on the side with it, it helps.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the plan. And then in our case too, it's also for making more content as well. So we're not really investing to go to the moon when it comes to Lego sets, but it's more like that way we have videos, to show our process of how we do it and how we take care of them, and then how we eventually turn them around. So I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the Lego room. Very proud of it, very happy. Don't know how I got here. The young Ross would be totally impressed with me right now. So kudos to him. He worked really hard for this. So.
What a great achievement. No, this is fantastic here. So I think you've both done a great job, incorporating your personalities. Like you said, some of the local stuff in Texas, whether it's like Marvel and the modular buildings, Orlando, amusement parks, everything. I think that's super fun. So I did want to ask Emily about, I know you obviously make a lot of content with the city as well. So what is your approach to that in terms of like, how often do you do kind of updates, or when you're adding buildings, how does that work?
Yeah. So with the Lego City, I've been trying to make a bunch more content recently. It takes a lot of time. And so like as a creator, you're not just working on the Lego City, like you're also trying to film content and make a production out of it. So not only are you spending the time like building the sets and thinking through how to go about this, spending the money on, the mills or whatever, then you have to spend a few hours like filming it and uploading it. So it does go a little bit slower than I would like, but really my process, I used to spend a lot more time on like the actual production. Like I would bring in my fancy camera and film in here, but I was like, it doesn't really, it's kind of weird, but it doesn't really pick up on the Lego as much as like someone's face. So it has trouble focusing on that. So honestly, I just film on my iPhone and talk into it. And after we did all the soundproofing, we need to add a little bit more. But once we added the soundproofing, it was a little bit easier just coming in here and filming the content. And really like I switch up my types of city videos where sometimes I'll do like an overview and then talk about what's new. Sometimes I'll just like do a deep dive into like Disney and kind of like the planning and, almost do like a vlog style where it's like, here's kind of where I'm at right now. I'll film at the beginning, do some stuff, kind of film like time lapse of me doing stuff and then show the end product. So it's like, it makes it feel more obtainable for people and more relatable because we're just doing our best. Like, and you see some Lego cities and you're just like, well, I can never do this. This is so much work, so much effort and time. Like, like at Brick Rodeo and like the Lego conventions, you see these mocks and you're like, I can't even do that. Like, I'm not even going to try. And then you see some, you're like, I think I could do that. Like, okay, like just trying to make it relatable for an audience. Cause that's a big part of what I want my content to be is like, showing how to enjoy the Lego hobby, making it relatable for people. Like, everyone's Lego City is good. Like, have fun with it. And that's the most important thing. And so that's what I try to show through my content is my process, what I enjoy about it, what's difficult. If I change something and it didn't work out, I'm like, yeah, I just am learning. I didn't really know how to do this. And so I took it apart and we're trying something different. But I really do like filming the videos, and it's also kind of nice too because like me and Ross will have our own ideas. And then throughout the video, I'm like, here's what we did, but I don't know if I like it. What do you guys think? And then the comments are like, oh, like in my city, I did this. Like, you should try this. And then I'll do it, and they'll like comment on the next video like, wow, you actually did it. Like, you actually listened. That's so cool. So it really does feel like a community kind of effort working in here, and like even streaming sometimes. Like like the dog park, the food trucks in the back there. We really tried like streaming those on Twitch and just kind of getting people's feedback as we were building. And it was like a super low key, like Friday night stream, but it's like, hey, we're going to build food trucks. Like, let's do it together. And, just getting everyone's input on that has been really fun.
Yeah, no, that's a great approach. It's very much a process, it sounds like, and you're continuing to learn as you continue to add to the city. So I love that, and I look forward to seeing how it grows in the future. So thank you for taking us through this, and we can keep looking at more of the studio space then.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Awesome.
Now we've come outside the Lego City room and we're in what I'm going to call the comfy couch room because this furniture looks amazing, but there's also lots of Lego around here as well. So what do you keep on display out here?
So for a while, again, Emily kicked me out of all the other rooms and I was only able to she was like, if you could put some shelves here, you could display your Star Wars sets. Again, I'm a huge prequel fan, so I have almost every ship from the prequels and the Clone Wars. I have 2 different versions of the gunship, the Venator, the Malevolence, everything. I love all this stuff so much. And so, got them on some nice display stands. and able to kind of show them off. It's really handy too, and kind of dangerous. Again, we have a local Bricks and Minifigs, and every time they get these kinds of Star Wars sets, I jump all over them. But I've learned to kind of stop because I'm starting to run out of room. And so just, again, absolutely huge Star Wars fan. Love these ships. And so this is just kind of my little nook over here for prequel sets. And then if we move over to this side over here, this one, I still haven't set up the lights for it yet. So this is more of my original trilogy sets. Some exclusions here and there. So this is my like Rebel fleet. I really like the Rebel ships. The U-Wing is one of my all-time favorite ships. And as well as like the Tantive 4. It's just, I can't get enough of looking at these things. They bring me joy every day. And this is where I work when I work from home. So I just kind of look up and get to look at the Tantive 4 all day. It's really nice. Over here, this is actually a dot set that came out earlier this year that Emily made for me, customized for Dog Mom, which, again, that's like our joke. I always wear a Dog Mom hat when we go out. And I always get some weird looks, but I'm 6'4", so no one's gonna say anything.
They're too scared to confront you.
Exactly. And
I love the style of display here on both these shelves. It's much more dynamic than just like setting them down all at the same level.
Right. And you know, if you talk to any like Lego Star Wars fan, they'll tell you that's the same thing. And that's the problem even Emily had with my Star Wars sets. It's just, you know, they're all long and flat. And so if you start to collect a lot of these Star Wars sets and you don't really think about display, what ends up happening is you just kind of start laying ships on top of each other. Things start to break, turrets fall off. And I wanted to, you know, that was my whole life. I wanted to try to get away from that. So finding some display stands really kind of helped with that. And again, making it, you know, like you say, look more dynamic. You know, it looks like they're in action. They're about to come up on the Death Star or something. So that was something, I love that aspect of it because it's a shame when you have to display your X-Wing in its landing position all the time. So this is a nice way to show it. And S-foils locked in attack position, ready to go.
I love it. Yeah, and it just works so well to have these in the corners as well, and it's a great way to display. Now, you also have some other non-Lego stuff here, so are there any kind of other things that you collect besides Lego that you feel like are stuff you try to have on display?
Yeah, so I have to be careful because I'll start to go down the rabbit hole. Black Series from Hasbro is the one thing I really have to hide myself from because if I start seeing pictures of some of the stuff they have, and I'm like, I gotta turn it off. And I grew up being a huge fan of Halo. I was always hoping that Lego would get the intellectual property, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And that's okay, because I probably don't need to buy that much more, another theme anyways. The Mega Construct sets do look pretty cool, and I do have a few of those, but I haven't put them on display. And then Black Series helmet, I've kind of gotten interested in. I have the Boba Fett helmet down there. I really like it. And then as well, I have a Master Chief helmet, which is interesting, and another Master Chief helmet, which is like from Halo 3. So that's like from 2007. So this is the last little display we have in this room. So one of the things I'm trying to do is fight dust because I'm tired of dusting things. So I was able to find some glass display cases, actually from Walmart of all places. And this is, you know, we just built these like within the last week or two. So we're still kind of coming up with ideas of what we want to put. One thing when I found out you guys would be coming is I wanted to show off my Iron Man Hall of Armor. Mostly because I'm a huge fan of the minifigs. I have almost every Marvel minifigure there is. I just don't have them on display yet. They're all in a bag. But I did go through, get my Iron Man, and the two I really like are the Iron Patriot and the Silver Centurion. And those are the two that you can only get like in a poly bag that came with one of the Avengers games and one of the Marvel games. And so I absolutely love having those on display, as well as, you know, some of the other rare ones like the Submarine and the Spaceman Iron Man. So I love seeing other people's Hall of Armors too. There is a new set that just came out. I still haven't got it yet, but I want to try to incorporate that in as well. And then I missed this one. So this is actually the Black Widow San Diego Comic-Con one. I overslept on the day the Nebulon B frigate went on sale, and so I missed that one, but I am happy to say that I got this one, and I'm excited because it does come with the Red Guardian, and I think that's the only set that comes with the Red Guardian, so maybe one day I'll open it, but I think it just looks so nice on display. Mm-hmm. That is something you'll see a little bit more of too, is I've actually started to get into collecting just new sets and not even building them. I actually really enjoy just having a sealed set with a really nice box art. Down here, these are my Batmobiles. There's still a few. I need to get the Rob Patmobile, which is the one from the new movie. But I thought it would be nice to kind of have these on display like that. I really liked like this scale of Batmobile, and I think Legos caught on to the fact that people like that. I'm not too into the giant, like the UCS tumbler. So I'm really glad they made these little play scale ones from different versions, like the 80s one, the 60s one, the Nolan film one. Just beneath that, this is a set we actually just picked up from Bricks and Minifigs, actually here in Austin, and this is the Woody's Toy Story set. Really excited to get it. I really like those old Toy Story figures where they had like the weird molded heads and the long legs. If you notice in Toy Story 4 sets, they were just normal minifigures. So really happy to have that, especially having the pork chop figure. That's I think the main draw of the set. And then just below that, I kind of, Thor comes out soon, so I wanted to show a little bit of our Thor sets. And then Emily's a huge fan. Actually, I am too. I'm a huge fan of the elves theme. I think it didn't last long enough. The pieces and the colors from that set, they're just so nice. And so we wanted to show the Goblin King as well as the dragon from the Goblin King and everything like that. I think they're all cool. So again, this is kind of a work in progress. In a few days it'll probably be totally different, but just kind of wanted to show. And I guess the last two I forgot to mention was Elsa's Castle and Optimus Prime. Elsa's Castle is amazing. I really hope more people are open to it. I know it comes with mini dolls, and it seems to be like a reason a lot of people don't like it. Get over it. It is an amazing set. Phenomenal, chef's kiss from the designers. I love all the translucent pieces. It's just something out of this world, and that's kind of something I learned, with Emily. I never got Friends or Disney Princess sets, but I will say in terms of building, I think they're the best sets. They're the most fun I've had building sets is the Friends sets, the Disney Princess sets, and then Monkey Kid. That's the other one. Those are my top 3 recommended for fun to build. Optimus Prime was fun to build, but it gets a little technicky and a little bit more. But sometimes you want to just turn your brain off, build a Friends set. All about it.
So, someone pointed out to me recently how much the yellow on his arm looks like the Beyond the Brick logo, and I hadn't thought of that before. I don't know anything about Optimus Prime or Transformers, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, it does look just like it, huh? Maybe you need to pick this one up. I didn't notice that either. That's cool. Speaking of printing, my favorite part of this is probably the eyes on that. It's actually a 1x2 plate, and they printed it on the side of the plate. And I only can think of a few sets that have that. I think the mystery block from Mario does that as well. But I love when they do weird printing like that. I'm also a very avid anti-sticker person. I know that gets controversial sometimes too. My argument is that stickers are not in system. So that leave that to whoever hears that and do with it what they may. But yeah, I would like to live in a world where everything's printed, but it might get a little expensive. So I understand the opposition.
You mentioned the issue with dust with having the glass cases. So that was something I wanted to bring up earlier in the city as well. How do you approach that with all of the stuff laid out in the city in terms of keeping it clean?
It's a pain. So the number one rule that we don't follow all the time is vacuum. Just always vacuum. Try to vacuum if you can once a day, really, because that's how dust gets anywhere. On your Lego sets, and so you just and we have a dog as well. So anytime you step, there's gonna get dust picked up from the carpet. So the cleaner you have your carpet, the less dust you'll have to deal with. Other than that, makeup brushes seems we don't have a shortage of those thanks to Emily. So those are the best. So that's how you get it. They're soft enough that they don't scratch the pieces, and then we'll try to come up with a vacuum or another duster or something. I dust pretty regularly the Lego sets. It really bothers me when there's dust on it. But I should probably just do a better job of vacuuming so I don't have to do it as often. But that's the main recommendation. And again, that's why I did these glass cases. They're not 100% dust free. There's a little bit of cracks on the sides, but it gets the job done. So I'm pretty happy with it. Eventually, I want to get some lights in here too to kind of show off this expensive Iron Man army. So one day we'll get that. set up. But yeah, so that's pretty much it when it comes to this display. And we have a few more of these in the other room we'll show you soon.
Now we're in display room number 3, I guess we'd call this here. So this has a little variation with more non-Lego stuff in it. So how do you use this space?
So this is our one and only guest room. It's a pull-out couch. It's kind of our hint to be like, yeah, you could stay for a few days, but it's a pull-out couch.
Don't take it too far.
Yeah. It's like my mom always says, guests are like fish. It gets bad after 3 days or something, right? No, just kidding. My in-laws are watching this. We're not talking. So anyways, over here, this is kind of my little build area. So this is where I sit, watch Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or whatever, and I'll build. And these are we just got these sent from LAN, so we're going to do a live stream on these soon. I'm really excited for this. Really big fan of Kenobi and Star Wars in general, if you haven't caught on. And then kind of moving over here. So this is where I really wanted to incorporate what LEGO's been doing in the last few years for like the AFALs, but not even just the AFALs, just like the adult market in general. And they've been just absolutely nailing it with these adult sets. The 18 plus line, I think it's going to be called the Icons line eventually. And Ideas sets, like they're just great. So this is where I'll sit and I'll listen to my records, build my Lego sets. And then I have like the botanical collections here. So you see we have Birds of Paradise, we have the sunflowers, and the bonsai tree. We actually have a few more kind of around the house. The only sets we allow downstairs are really the botanical sets. And then the Fender Stratocaster, that one means a lot to us because we actually got an opportunity to do an interview with the designers for this set, and that meant a whole world to us. So that one's never going anywhere. That one's going to stay right there. And then over there we have the Beatles set. This one's actually funny. Emily was going to get this for her dad for Father's Day, and then we kind of left it here just to see how it looked. And then I guess now it's here. I don't think it's being sent to her dad. So
it looks so good. You couldn't get rid of it.
It looks really nice. And then down there, I have a few. These are actually the Republic fighter tanks. I found a lot of them at a Target nearby. And I haven't been able to find them in like 2 months. So I stocked up on those. I'm really into building clone armies. And so I came up at a time in YouTube when it was all about who had the biggest clone army. So that's still instilled in my DNA, apparently. And you'll see some of my clones on display here in a minute. But yeah, so this is just a fun room. Got my Led Zeppelin. Love it. The Rolling Stones set was also sent to us by LAN. I really like how it looks. The 3D aspects of it are really nice, and I think it's one of the best art sets that they've made.
So we've gotten Rolling Stones, Beatles art, some more music stuff. So obviously, big Led Zeppelin fan. What are some of the other kind of music-related things you'd like to see Lego do?
I'm obviously going to go Led Zeppelin. So this is actually something I was telling them earlier. Is I had this like interesting. This is Led Zeppelin #1, the album, and it's the Hindenburg on Fire here, and I like that it's coming out in this 3D. I was building the Starry Night set, which is actually behind you, and they really incorporated like this 3D image in this beautiful way, and that's something I want to actually do. Is like I already have a 3D render of something. I can maybe try to make it in Lego in that same fashion as the Starry Night set. And so that's something I really love. Obviously, Led Zeppelin, all-time favorite band. Would absolutely love to see more of that. Others, just any other classic rock I think would be good. They got the right demographic for it. I think they saw that the Fender did pretty well, and Rolling Stones. I've heard a lot of positive feedback from that. So I'm really anxious to see like more of this kind of intellectual property with some of these old rock bands, and eventually I bet you it'll go through time. One day we'll have a Blink-182 set, so we'll see. Really excited about that. Over here is my guitars, so sometimes I'll go play guitar here. I also play bass, so I love to do that. And then over to the left is my comic books and graphic novels. I'm a really big fan of all those. I kind of got out of them lately since the Lego stuff started really taking more, but again, that's like a whole other level of collecting, and had to put that on hold, but that's okay.
It's hard to keep up with all the different fandoms.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't believe how many fandoms there really are. Like, it goes crazy with all of it. I mean, we have conventions just dedicated to Lego, so I can imagine. There's Comic Cons, for comics, and anime conventions. It's a lot.
Can we point out this poster on the wall over here as well?
Yes. So, Emily told me I'm not allowed to give my opinions on the sequels anymore, and just to keep everything kosher. But I will say, when it comes to the sequels, there's a lot that I do like about it, and I do like the character interactions. And my favorite line in the entire sequel trilogy is the "You're nobody," and that's what Kylo says to Rey, and it's the biggest neg ever. It's the funniest thing. So I always would joke around and like talk to my dog, be like, "You're nobody." And so Emily, this is early on during COVID. Emily was taking up another hobby, and she started painting. And she was like, "What's your favorite line in Star Wars?" And I was like, "You're nobody." And she's like, "Okay." And so she painted this for me. So I like to hang it up here. It's her confession of her love for me, I think.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah, exactly. If you know, you know. If you don't get it, it probably seems pretty weird. But yeah, the "You're nobody" thing. Still my favorite. I'm a big fan of Raylo from the sequels.
Fantastic. We can move over here then to more of these glass cases.
So this is again the same case we saw earlier. We got 3 more of them, and again trying to fight dust. And Emily, told me I'm not allowed to have any space until I take over this room. And so this is where I'm really trying to like bring out my Star Wars collection. We did just build these display cases like in the last 2 days. We had a lot of help from our friends Sans, Claire, and Josh. So I really appreciate them helping us out. We missed a little bit of Brick Rodeo because we were out here trying to get these ready. But what I'm trying to do with this is I want on every layer to kind of have like a different mock, just kind of restricted to 2 base plates from different scenes from the movies and the shows. So if you see over here, we kind of have Scarif from Rogue One. So again, I want to get more Stormtroopers and Shore Troopers out there. I just need to lay them out. Right beneath it is Kashyyyk. It doesn't really look like it; just kind of looks like water. Then we have the Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutts. There you go. Their palaces down there, and so I have the Tatooine Mos Eisley Cantina set. That's probably going to go under that eventually. As well as some of the things I mentioned earlier. I love building my clone trooper army. And so in that top spot over here, this is where I have all my phase 1 clone troopers. I haven't put my phase 2 clone troopers out yet. So a lot of these are from my youth. Some of them are from the new like blister pack, and then some are just like random assorted phase 1 clone troopers. And I have it there in front of one of my favorite sets, the Duel and Geonosis. I just can't justify opening it. I think it looks really good in the box, so I think I might just keep it there. Which is a shame because I really want that Count Dooku figure, but I think I'll just leave it there for now. Beneath it is another kind of Geonosis mock I want to build. Some, cool sand green, nougaty, not sand green, sorry, more of the like sandy nougaty colors. And I have an ATT in here, which the new one is coming out soon. I'm really excited for. And then eventually I want to build like an Utapau mock beneath that where Obi-Wan and Grievous fight each other. Order 66 happens. And just kind of some assorted tanks just as filler for now. But eventually my goal is to make it look really nice. I want to install lighting in here. So, you could just flip it on and you can see. I'm worried it might be a little dark right now, but hopefully it'll come out all right. Up here we have 2 UCS sets. So we have the gunship. It's part of the gunship gang. So I'm excited to see that one. And then as well as Luke's land speeder, which we just got recently from Land as well. I really like that C-3PO figure. And then over here, this is the GOAT set, my all-time favorite set. We get asked often, what's our favorite Lego set? Always Republic Dropship and AT-OT. I don't have the AT-OT built, but mainly because the Republic Dropship is my all-time favorite set. And if you're not familiar with it, what you can do is you can actually latch it on to different walkers, and it'll pick it up, and then you can fly him around your room and deploy him and attack your dog with it. So that's absolutely love this set. It's the best set ever, in my opinion.
So it's interesting to me that this is your favorite because you look at this on display here and there's a lot of Technic in there, and just as a display model, it doesn't seem like it's the most impressive, but there's the playability factor as well.
Right. It's honestly the worst set for display. You can see it's hanging off the sides, pushed up against things. It's a little clunky, but it's the play feature of it is next level. I mean, the fact that, there's some Technic in there, it latches onto the walker and picks it up, and it just looks beautiful. And, I bet you, what was that, 2010 when this came out? The designers were ahead of their time with this one. It was just immaculate, just sheer beauty. Absolutely love it. I need to take it apart and clean it because it's been built for 10 years, really, 12 years. So it deserves that justice. But again, I think to this day, best set. I hope they remake it one day. The aftermarket on this set is a little ridiculous. So for a new in-box one, I see it go usually around $2,000.
Oh my.
And used, I see it at a minimum at $1,000. So that's nuts. And this was actually the last set I got before I went into my Dark Ages. And I knew I was going into my Dark Ages, but I saw that set and I was like, I got to get that one, and then I'm out. And then so when I came back, I was really glad that I had that set because I had looked at the prices and I was like, because I thought about just buying a second one, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. And
So
yeah.
are there plans with this room to expand on what you have in here right now, or just kind of switch the exhibits kind of in and out over the years?
Mostly the exhibits. Yeah, over time, I want the exhibits to. I like that. It's like habitats, right? I want to make like a Star Wars habitat room. Is really what it'll become, and so that's kind of the plan. Again, mostly that. I like showing off minifigures. I'm a huge fan of collecting minifigures. And so that's kind of, this is a way where I'm like, I don't want the minifigures to just be on display. I want to incorporate them in ways, true to the source material. So that's the whole goal. So eventually I'll have all my rare minifigures like in here. So that way they're not just standing and looking around.
Yeah, perfect. Well, more to look forward to there, but there's even more rooms to see. So we'll keep checking that out here. Now we're in the content creator Emily's studio here, so you might recognize some of the background from some of the videos on the Emmasaurus channel. So tell us some of what we have back here.
Yeah. So this is pretty much my background for all the different videos, and a lot of it stays place, but some of it I do switch out just to keep it interesting. The Falcon and the two Mickey and Minnie statues, I like to call them, stay there along with like the art on the top. And then the AT-AT, I dotted it because, why not?
It's very gray. It really needs some color.
Right. Yeah. I was building it on stream and I was like, this is a very gray set. Let's fix that. So there's like googly eyes on the front too. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, really what I wanted to do is just like have a lot of like sets that mean a lot to me on my background here. Like I love the roses. That was like a whole thing. Like last year they were nowhere, and even like some of my channel members like sent them to me because I was like, I can't find these. Like, where are they? So I wanted a dozen roses. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then looking at the top over here, you can see all of the different like women sets. Actually, this one here is my first ever Lego set. Like Margaret Hamilton. I love her. Just like female coders. Like that's what I studied before, doing YouTube, was like I was a data scientist. And so I had those on my desk at work when I used to have like a normal job. And, as a small company, the CEO came by and was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's Lego, whatever. Like, it's cool. And he was like, okay, whatever.
I feel like among that field, though, Lego would be
Yeah.
something that people appreciate.
Yeah, some of them did. Some of them were like, I don't know. I was still kind of towards the beginning of Lego being like for adults as well. But yeah, no, like those sets mean so much to me. And then the Women's Science Institute, I believe it's called. That one I picked up, I think, a year ago. So a lot more recent. But yeah, the Women of NASA just means so much to me. It's like my first ever set. And then on the end, we have Amelia Earhart. And that one's just, I don't know. I love that they're doing more of these like featuring women for like International Women's Day. Like that's just incredible. But yeah, and then, the AT-AT again, we have some snow speeders to decide there. I don't know. I just really like how the color turned out. It was kind of like a joke, and then, I left it there for a while. So I don't think I'll ever like take them off. Maybe one day, but maybe I'll just like mix them up. It's just kind of like a thing at this point. And then, like we said earlier, we're super into Mario and like the yellow mystery block. I remember when we did get that one from LAN, and I opened it and I was like, what is this? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I was just looking at the box for probably like 20 minutes. And then I was like, Ross, will you come look at it? And we were just like, I don't get it. Like, is it just a block? And then you see inside and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. This is cool. But at first I was like, I don't know what this is. And then, Bowser's Airship. That's probably like my favorite from the Mario line. It's just very like, it's an actual set. Like a lot of them are weird games almost with like little structures, like the Toad houses. But that one's really cool. I like that one. So I hope that they do a little bit more with like the actual full-on sets. It just seems more completed rather than like all the board game almost feel to it. The DeLorean down here, I love Back to the Future, so like that's just a great one. Whenever we get new sets, we try to build them on stream, and it's just really fun like experiencing that with our community. It's a lot of interaction, and it's not so much about like the Lego, it's more of like, our community and like, just being excited about new sets, talking about whatever's coming next. And so it's, it feels like I get to hang out with everybody, even though it's, just kind of me talking in a room by myself. But it's always a lot of fun. So I remember building that on stream, and that was a blast. The Adidas shoes, I remember like getting that at the Lego store. I was the only one actually wearing my Adidas Superstars. Everyone was wearing Converse to get it, and I was like, "What are you doing?
This is stay on brand here, people."
Yeah, it's like, come on, like, why aren't you wearing your Adidas shoes? What's happening? But no, I really like that one. Something kind of cool inside it. I would show you, but it's like really hard to see. Like you build over it, but there's a little brick inside as like a joke about stepping on Lego and it hurts. So I just thought I remember building it and I was like, what's the point of this? And then in chat, I was building on a live stream. They're like, oh, it's funny. It's a joke. And I was like, okay, I understand.
Side note on this one, this might be my favorite Lego set box of all time. I mean, it looks so much like a real shoebox. Just fantastic work for the box designer there.
Oh yeah. No, like I used to not really care about packaging as much. I was like, well, it's just the packaging for the thing. Like I don't care about the outside, like the box doesn't matter. But now I'm like, okay, like some boxes I really care about. Some of them I still don't, but that one I will always keep. Like that's just so creative and it's so different, and I just love how they did it. And like even my friends come over and they're like trying to open up to see like if I have shoes inside. I'm like, no, the Lego set came in the shoe box. Like, isn't that so funny? And they're like, okay, I see what you did there. Like that's good. So yeah, I hope to see more like creative boxes like that from Lego in the future. That was just great. The Gungan sub down there, I remember wanting Queen Amidala so badly. Like, that's my favorite minifigure. And that's the only way to get her, but it's kind of weird. Like, she's not in that scene. And on the box, it, like, shows, different, like, play features, but it's just kind of like her on a Zoom call with them in the Gungan sub. And you're like, why are you in this set? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But I got the Gungan sub. I wanted my Queen Amidala, and very worth it. I was so excited. I think he got it for me for like Valentine's Day or something, because that's what we get now. It's just like Lego for each other. But yeah, and then over here we have just like I like to have it very minimal. Like with YouTube, I like to have it just as clean as possible behind me, and then like the rest of my room can look like a disaster. But as long as this wall is clean, I'm happy. So just like some of my favorite like Star Wars sets here, like the lifestyle kind of Star Wars sets I like to call them. It's not really play sets, and I don't really gravitate towards the play sets in general just because they're very, I don't know, clunky almost. Like for the Lego City, if we're doing like a Star Wars area, those are really good for it. They're good for minifigs, but I like the standalone kind of display sets for Star Wars more. Ross is into all the ships and stuff. He's into that. I like BB-8.
I mean, these ones with obviously like your UCS type card there obviously look great on display. The play sets are, as the name implies, not necessarily designed for display.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still like them. The figures, that's the best way to get figures. But yeah, I like the droids and like the little porg, and I don't know, those make me happy. And then down here you can kind of see, like, usually when I finish building a set, I'll throw my instructions in. You can kind of see them peeking out. Trying to figure out a better system for that. So always learning, like even though like this is my job, like I'm always just trying to figure out how to be a better Lego fan, I guess, a better Lego collector, and like take good care of my stuff. The instructions kind of get beat up in there, so I feel bad about it, but doing our best to always, just take better care of everything. And then like the lighting is kind of a big thing on here too. I don't know why we did it. I just thought it looked cool. Like everyone does that on YouTube. So we're like, okay, purple lights, and then like the LEDs across the top there. It's kind of nice for like, I guess the top you don't really see on YouTube, but like TikTok or Instagram, like for Reels, you kind of see it, and it just kind of like finishes off the display. It makes it look kind of cool. So I always like having my lights on, even when I'm just working. I'm just like, okay, make sure my lights are on. Good, okay. And
It just
like
sets a nice tone for the whole room here.
Yeah, and I mean the walls are gray, but like I don't know, just having that tint of like blue or purple back there, it just makes it look less gray, I guess. I like color, so that's always a lot of fun. And then something kind of cool if we want to look this way. So, here we can go around. So, I've mentioned like I do a lot of live streams, and should I turn this off? Maybe it's a little bright. I do a lot of live streams, and whenever I get support from like channel members or anybody, I guess, like super chat, super sticker, whatever, I write their name on a foam board, and I have it behind me. And instead of like just saying thank you, like I felt so bad during one of my first like monetized streams. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like write their name on something, like, it's like something special, kind of fun. And so I started out with Scooby. I love Scooby. That's like always been a big thing. And then like the Mystery Machine, and then like the Saurus Star, like kind of going back to like the Lego City, just like iconic Emmasaurus-y icons. And then when we got the AT-AT, it was around like November, I think. So we put like a Santa hat on it just because it was kind of funny. And then most recently was our little Benny minifig. So we don't have one right now. We need to like actually go make a new one. But it's always just kind of fun. It's nice to like look back and see like all of the support you've gotten, and like, yeah, it's just kind of like little emojis almost on your wall. So
do you do updates as you add names on here and kind of show this section off?
So usually like once it's done, but like I'll make like a new foam board. I don't know what I'll do next. I kind of want to do like Shaggy's like face or something, but it's like tan, so it's, I don't know. Like I like the ones that are like really colorful. Like even the gray, I'm like, maybe not. But yeah, I do kind of show them off like periodically. They were in my closet for a while, and like I just recently finally like had a spot for them on the wall because I don't know. I feel like it's really important. Like so many people are like so supportive. So just kind of making a spot for them in the room was really important to us.
Yeah, for sure.
And then this is kind of like my camera and like desk area. So this is kind of how I like film. So this is pretty much my streaming setup as it is right now. And then this white table here, I'll like bring it closer. Like if I'm editing and like I don't want to like ruin my eyesight, I'll like drag it a little bit closer. If I'm streaming, I'll move it back there like 2 or 3 feet and just move it all around. Like if I'm doing a review, I'll like put it against this wall or like way back there. It depends what I want to do. It's like super, it's from IKEA. It's like really easy to move around. So just trying to make this like a multi-purpose room while also, having it still be kind of structured was the goal. And then, I just have my computer up here with like, pretty much like a workstation, like all my pens and whatever. Like all I need is my mouse, keyboard, and computer. But for tape and stuff like that, like, just a little office kind of setting. And then down here, actually, I have like milk bones for Ladybird. So on Twitch, it's like one of our channel like redemption point things where it's like, oh, Ladybird gets a treat. And so it's like, okay, like I'll pick her up and I'm like, here you go, Ladybird. And so she likes it when we stream on Twitch. She likes that.
It's good night for her.
Yeah, she really enjoys that. Yeah, there's like a limit. It's like every 20 minutes or something, so Ladybird doesn't get fat, and like throw up. But yeah, it worked out really well. And then this actually, y'all might remember my yearbook. Oh gosh, you guys are in here somewhere. At Brick Rodeo in Brick World, I had like all of my friends kind of like sign this, so like you might recognize that guy there. But yeah, just like going through and like getting all these signatures for memory, really just, I don't know. I'm like a very sentimental kind of person. Like I like having memories and like remembering the people that I meet. So as time goes on, I just started that at Brick World Chicago. There's so many brick everythings. Brick World Chicago is where I started that. I got a few more at Brick Rodeo. So just, kind of fun to look through there. And I call it my yearbook. It's really just, will you sign this? It's just something kind of cute to remember and look back on. But yeah, down here, what else is there? Yeah, my Scooby, my flamingo. This is actually kind of cool. This artwork, I don't know if you can show that from there. I can pull it out too. We have this is like me and Ross and Ladybird. One of our friends made this for us as a gift, and it's just really cute. It's like us as minifigs, the little pug. Like these were our sig figs back when my hair was like a little bit shorter too, I think, and browner. But yeah, it's just kind of fun and different. It's like Lego everything. We love it.
I mean, if they really wanted to capture you, I think you would have been in tubes going down the river, right?
Yeah, we would have been in the tubes. Yeah, I think so. And then I guess you want to look over on this wall over here.
Yeah, so again, this kind of goes back to the running joke of Emily. It only gives me little bits of spaces to put things. So when I built these shelves, I was like, okay, if you're going to make me build these shelves, I got dibs on the top row. And so these are all of our, or my, like, either my rare or just like my favorite Star Wars figures kind of scattered throughout. You'll see there, like I have on the far left, the Rebels ones. It's crazy how expensive some of them go for now. Like Zeb, the purple one, goes for like $100 now. I have the Chrome Stormtrooper from a magnet from 15 years ago or so. All of my Jedi, they just look so cool all next to each other. Then over here, this is kind of where we have the rarest ones. Darth Malgus, Darth Revan, those are crazy expensive. Queen Amidala is like $150 now. Captain Rex is almost $200 now. It's a little ridiculous when you think about it, but I'm so glad I have them. as well as some of these Phase 2 clone troopers. Again, I mention it all the time. I'm a huge fan of clone troopers and army building, so I have a few shock troopers and wolfpack troopers and just different stuff like that. We have the Mandalorian figures kind of scattered throughout here. Some other Phase 1 clone troopers, the Empire, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and some bounty hunters over there. So that's like my little section of this room. And then the only other spot that she gave me is right here. And I have a hunch she'll be moving these out soon too. But this is my my like homage to Boba Fett, as well as maybe just the Empire Strikes Back in general. So we have different Slave 1s. And then I actually do have the UCS Slave 1 too. I've debated on whether I want to build it or not. And I've decided that I don't. And I know that's hard for some to hear. A lot of it's because I think I already have like 6 Slave 1s around the house. So I don't need another one, even though it is probably the best one. It's also the biggest. But I really like having the box. I just like having the new in box set just there as a display. I think it looks gorgeous. So we're probably going to keep it for the time being. And as well as we have the coveted Bespin Duel set. Very controversial set when it came out because it wasn't actually a set, but it came out during 2020. So, it was only a limited drop for US only. But I have seen it around town, believe it or not. You can actually still find it. It's just very expensive. And yeah, so this is pretty much it when it comes to me, my Star Wars figures, and my little Empire Strikes Back tribute. Everything else, I'll throw it back to Emily.
There we go. That's enough Star Wars for now.
Yeah, too much Star Wars, too much. And so, I guess like with the Brickheads, at first, I just did not care about the Brickheads line. I was like, these are like clunky, they're weird, they're, blocky. Obviously, it's Lego, but like they just seemed weird to me. And then, I saw Mickey and Minnie existed. I was like, oh, these are really cool. And this was before they went up in value. I think to get both of them now, it's like 100 total, which is crazy. Like usually I'm not blown away by prices anymore. Like if something's $500, I'm like, maybe. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. Now, but with those, I was like, yikes, that's kind of a lot for this little thing. But yeah, really like with the Brickheads, I keep it to Disney, and then like anything Star Wars that I really like. We found some of like the Batman, Robin kind of stuff a while back, but those aren't my favorites. And then, Ahsoka, she's really good. I really like that Brickheads. We have the Baby Yoda, the Mandalorian, some of the dogs and fish. Ross loves fish, so whenever there's anything fish related, he's super into that. And then the Spice Girls, we got from Lan. I was never like a huge Spice Girls fan. I only know the Tell Me What You Want. Yeah, that one. That's all I actually know from them. So I was like, oh, okay. Like this is an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them, which was kind of cool. But, and then the micro build Disney Castle. I love that concept. And then like with the new Haunted Mansion coming out later this year, I'm excited to see what else they come out with for that. That's going to be really cool. But then looking down to all of our different pumpkins here, or one pumpkin and 2 skeletons to the side. I love like the storage containers for those, and like just the normal yellow minifig ones I never really cared about, but like the weird ones for Halloween, I was like, okay, I'm into this. And we actually use them as candy bowls when Halloween happens, which is kind of fun. The kids really like it when they come trick-or-treating, so that's just kind of different, kind of fun. And then of course Scooby, my shrine here, I call it my Scooby shrine. I am obsessed with Scooby since a young age. Like all of the books in the back are from like my actual childhood, along with all the plushies. I've gotten some of this as gifts from different, friends in Lego, which has been really fun because I'm just that into Scooby. They know that. Everyone knows. And then I actually have like Scooby Converse. So that's what those 2 shoe boxes are. One of them is like Mystery Machine Converse, and then one of them is just kind of like black and white. It's very nonchalant, so if I want to blend in with like normal people in the world, it's like, okay, I'll wear those. Like I won't look like that crazy girl with like Mystery Machine Converse, like bright blue and green and all that.
Scooby-Doo is something I know very little about. So with this intense fandom, was that based on like movies or TV shows or books, or where does that stem from?
So I feel like it was just like difficult to watch it. Like it was rarely on TV. So it was kind of like, oh, it's on. Like this is really exciting. Oh, wow. Like the TV show's on right now. So it was kind of like a little bit of that, like the FOMO. It was like hard to watch it, so it made me want to watch it more. But then it was just kind of like comforting. It's the same plot over and over, especially like in the first like few seasons from like forever ago. It's just like, okay, they go somewhere weird and they somehow have money to go to all these weird places. cool. Everyone has a rich uncle somewhere. Okay. And then, some crazy spooky thing happens and they investigate and then it's a guy in a mask and you're like, oh, wow, glad we solved this. And it's the same thing over and over. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay, comforting. Like, I know what's going to happen, but then it's like the weird ones where it's like actually a real person. You're like, wow, this was wild. Like the Zombie Island one caught me so off guard. That one like actually scared me a lot when it was out. And I was like, oh, wow, like they're actually real zombies. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. Like, I just really like it. They're just like fun and I don't know what it is. They just make me happy. I've always liked.
Hey, that works. That's a perfectly fine answer.
Yeah, no, I just really like them. And then like all the different sizes of the Mr. Machines, they're really cool too. Like the Lego Dimensions had like the little tiny Mr. Machine builds, and so like at Brick Rodeo they had them for a really good deal. So I got like a bunch of them because I love them. They're kind of fun to have in the city. There's like the weird sandwich builds from Lego Dimensions. Like our favorite character from Scooby is of course the sandwich. So I'm glad they made sure to include that one. But yeah, no, like I just really like Scooby. So I made sure to have a whole shrine dedicated to it. It'll probably expand through time too. But looking down, we have the Jurassic Park set. And yeah, I always loved Jurassic Park. Like dinosaurs are really cool. They used to scare me when I was like really little. Like even going to like Universal Studios, I would like cry on the big ride when like the T-Rex is like about to eat you before the big drop. I was definitely traumatized from that for many years. But like now, I'm over it now. Dinosaurs are great. Emmasaurus, it's just very on brand being, like, dinosaurs, Emmasaurus. It makes sense, And in this thing here, like, I know it's, like, so weird and random, but, like, I brought this with me to Brickworld as, like, a purse almost because I was like, it's kind of cute, whatever. Like, it's definitely not meant for that. It's, like, meant for small children, but whatever. Yeah, this is from like the Target collab and I was just super into that. Like Lego and Target released a bunch of like Lego related kind of like lifestyle stuff and clothing and I was all about it. We spent hundreds of dollars when it came out. It was like excessively kind of dumb and then it went on sale like a month later. So that, yeah.
Turns out not everyone was like you spending hundreds of dollars.
We were the only ones buying that. It was just us. And then, yeah, we went back for more when it was on sale. We're like, okay, at least we're going to like, It worked out. Yeah, we got a lot of like the swag from that, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I really like that. I hope they do more of it. It was all like winter clothes, so hopefully like summer next time. And then Loungefly is like my newest weird thing I'm into. So like that's what the small backpacks are called. They're like owned by Funko, which is how they have the rights to pretty much everything. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, how do they have the rights to every single IP that exists? But yeah, like Elvis Stitch is just like, I don't know. I saw that and I bought it. I was like, I don't know what this is, but impulse purchase, And then like the 50th anniversary of like Walt Disney World, that one was like retired and I found it for a good price online, so I just went for it. There's like the little Kyber crystal that we got from Galaxy's Edge, that red thing. That was like one of our few souvenirs when we went there recently. And then the Darth Vader backpack, it actually lights up on the inside, which is kind of cool. Like, they're just kind of fun. I don't know. I like the backpacks. And then, Scooby, Mystery Machine, Minnie Mouse, I don't know. It's the kind of thing that it can get excessive and out of hand. So I'm just trying my best to like keep it to like what I really love, just Scooby, Disney, that's it. Like, I don't need 4 more rooms in our house dedicated to these backpacks. I really don't.
So are these backpacks aimed at like an adult collector audience or kids or how does that typically work?
Yeah. So they're surprisingly decent quality. I mean, it's not like, if you're going, like it's not like an outdoor quality backpack, like don't go hiking in it, but it's more of like I would say like young adult to adult market because I could see kids having them, but I mean, it's the kind of thing like Lego too. Like kids are into it, but adults have the money. So, the adults are the ones with like the crazy collections, but I could see a kid having like a few, just, it's more of like a Disney thing. I feel like Disney parks, everyone has them there. So that's when I saw them and I was like, those are all so cool. Like they had some Toy Story ones and it like looked like, like the Lightyear back, like, Buzz Lightyear. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, it can get very dangerous. I see some people like instead of Lego in all of their rooms, it's just Loungefly, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, no, keep it just to 6, maybe a few.
How many backpacks can you wear at one time?
Just one. I mean, I think I could figure it out, but just one is, yeah. It's I feel like I'm very much a completionist, so I always have to be very careful whenever getting into anything. Like even with Scooby, it's like, as soon as I got like the Mystery Machine, when I first got into Lego, I was like, I need everything that ever existed from Lego Scooby-Doo. And $500 later or something, I was like, yeah, I did it. Cool. But yeah, like I'm definitely a collector mindset kind of person, which can get me in trouble sometimes. And then down here we have like the medieval village, medieval market. And we got that one from Bricks and Minifigs a while back too. It's a really nice medieval build, and it's nice because it's like complete on both sides of it. Like the front and back is just, it's not like the friend sets, like it's not open on one side. So I really do like those. And then just some of the books I got, I don't know. They're kind of cool. I got some of them as gifts, some of them from Lego, and they're just kind of neat to look through, like for mock building. It's kind of fun going through. There's like a lot of inspirational ideas and quotes, and they kind of look nice on a shelf too. And then this one here, my disco ball. So this is something I do like for streaming. I have it kind of like over by like the Mickey and Minnie. I like move those to the side and I plug this in and it like, lights up. It's definitely from like Party City for $20 or whatever, but it's just kind of fun, like whenever, some sort of like super chat sticker, some sort of like, support happens, it lights up and then it's like, woo, dance party. So me and Ross will like, we like to be kind of ridiculous, so we'll do like a little dance party and write their name on the boards we looked at earlier, but that's kind of where that lives when it's not like right behind me. And then just some more books and storage, plastic bags, because as Lego fans, you're always like circling through your collection and trying to switch things up, like put out the things that you enjoy, maybe put them away and pull them back out in the future kind of thing. And then Harry Potter up here, the Hedwig. Really, like our thing with Harry Potter is anything that's not Hogwarts. So, all of this here is pretty much it, along with Diagon Alley. You can kind of see it like hidden behind our minifigs because it's like not built yet. It's like kind of a mess. But yeah, anything Hogwarts, the castle, we don't have room for it. It's also just expensive keeping up with all of that. So we stay away from that as much as possible. But then we have all of these minifigs here. All of like the new Mickey and Friends minifigs. Those are really fun. And then the Wizard of Oz ones. My family dog from Florida is Toodles, and it's the same breed as Toto. So like that's really important for us. Like I just love that little like dog mold. It's really cute. And then right next to that, we have all of our Scooby minifigs and, all the different Scooby-Doo ones, like the face printings and like their different like poses are all like slightly different. So I like collecting those. Those are kind of fun. Like the goggles on the one like second from the right. I just like, because that's the one that's like in the plane. So kind of different. Like he's wearing goggles. Like that's so fun.
These Scoobies are your version of clones on a base plate here. Yeah. Just very slight variations.
I've always like joked with Ross. I'm like, oh, like you're doing your own clone army. Like I want my Scooby army. Like when's that going to happen? Because I have so many Scoobies now. I'm like, I probably could do something fun with this. Like we'll see. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything on these shelves here. And then up here, it's, I try to make it look as like minimalist as possible, but we have like the Flintstones up there. I just love like the Lego ideas, like the one-off IP sets. Those are just really fun. I don't know. I like that they've started doing that a little bit more, like with Sonic and Transformers and all that kind of thing. Disney fan, once again, like that carriage rather. Was my first Disney princess or Friends anything, like with mini dolls. And before that, I was like, oh, mini dolls are kind of lame. Like, I don't like them. They're weird looking, whatever. And then I got that. I was like, wait, this is actually really cool. So that actually got me more into, the Friends, Disney princess kind of stuff. So I really do like that set a lot. And it's a great build, like if it came with minifigs, I feel like it would do so much better, So like a lot of people like to hate on mini dolls, but I like them. I think they're cute. So yeah, I'm definitely into that. And then like that, my camera and mic there. I just kind of think it looks kind of cool there. And I use the mic for when I'm streaming. The camera is like my second camera. So like I'll have like my main one kind of on me. And then if I have a build cam, that's what that is. I don't do it as often. Just it's kind of hard to set it up and I'm not as techie, but when I do figure it out, that's what I use for that. And then some more of the Friends sets, the art school there. I love like the murals on the side. Just, it's just very creative. And then like in the front, the pencil and like paintbrush as like statues almost, like above the art school sign. It's just really creative. I don't know. They've really stepped it up with Friends lately.
Yeah, the color is always great in those sets. I love seeing sets with a lot of color.
Yeah, the color is definitely my favorite part. So I really enjoy that. And then that one there, I forget. I think it's called the Organic Farm from the new Friends wave. It's a cute one. I just don't know what to do with it. Like some of the Friends stuff, I'm like, super into, like this is going in the city, and some of them I'm like, it's just kind of fun to build. Like, now what though? So sometimes I might like take that apart and do like some modifications or like mock building with it, because the roof is gorgeous. So I could see some like really cool stuff happening with that. And then the Minions on the bottom. Not a huge Minions fan, but I just think they're kind of cute. So yeah. Oh, and then my Mickey ears just kind of hanging up there. I just used to have them like on, in a corner somewhere, and I was like, they're like kind of expensive, and they kind of look cool. And I've seen some other people like hanging them up and like displaying them in different ways. So that's kind of what I did with mine. I think it turned out okay.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, this is a great space here. So on a day-to-day basis, so if you're just working, even if you're not streaming or anything, is this typically where you're at?
Yeah, so pretty much as soon as I wake up, I go get coffee at Dunkin' and then come back here, get my video ready for today. Like, I don't upload every single day. I'd say like maybe 4 or 5 days out of the week. But yeah, this is pretty much where I am. I'll just, if I'm not working, I'm just kind of on my phone too. I procrastinate sometimes, but I'm working on it. We're getting better. But yeah, I mean, it's just great. Like I'll build Lego sets here with Ross sometimes. Like we'll put on TV on the computer there and watch New Girl or Rebels. We just started watching a bunch more Star Wars stuff. So this is pretty much where you can always find me. Yeah.
There we go. So we've seen a lot of your spaces here where you record and obviously your city and everything. I did want to ask you a little bit about kind of the history of the channel. So before coming over, and maybe this is something Ross can speak to as well, I was looking at like the original videos, and there's this like really interesting break on the channel when you go back like 10, 12, 13 years with these like stop motion type films and then your content today. So what's the story there?
So yeah, the funny thing with the Emmasaurus channel is it started in 2008. I think I like to brag I've been around a lot longer than a lot of the Lego YouTubers by like a month or two. And so like my joke is like David from Solid Brick Studios. I think he started like 2 months after me. So I'm like, yeah, I've been here longer. But so when I was a kid, like in middle school and high school, I was really into building like stop motion animations, and it was always Clone Wars stuff. So it's very deep seated with me when it comes to the Clone Wars, and having all my clones. And so I always did that. And then, leaving high school, going into college, it was kind of like, all right, I'm going to the dark age. I always kind of kept up with Lego, but I just couldn't, afford it or have the space for it. So the only things I really bought in college would be maybe the occasional Star Wars set. And when Marvel started coming out, I wanted to get on that because I knew that, the figures would start to go up in price. And so, so the channel kind of died for a while. And during 2020, during COVID, unfortunately, Emily had lost her job. And she was just kind of bored, looking for something to do, looking for new work. And I was like, well, I've always thought about rebooting my old channel. Would that be something you're interested in doing? So I said, it's like, maybe there isn't really like it's kind of open right now in terms of Lego YouTube. There isn't a lot of women on the space. So maybe that's something that you might want to consider. And she was like, well, I do like, I've been slowly indoctrinating her into Lego prior to that. And so she's like, well, I do like Lego. Like, yeah, maybe that would be fun. And so we just kind of started doing it for fun. And then it kind of started, steamrolling into what it's become today, this kind of bigger channel. But yeah, it's like funny because oftentimes people will tell us that like, oh yeah, I went and looked at your channel sorted by your most popular videos, and it was some silly Clone Wars animation from 2009 with 800,000 views. And then Emily's always like, yeah, YouTube back then, it was easy. Like, and I'll say that like in 2008, anything went viral. You can film like a log floating down the river, like 1 million views, easy. Nowadays, and I thought it would be easy coming back to it because I knew the platform back then. But then when we got back to it, I realized, man, this is a grind. It's pretty hard. It's not a super simple thing. So to Emily's credit, she handled that better than I think. I was worried I set her up for failure there, but she pushed through. And yeah, so now Emily has to live up to that. Her whole goal is to get one video to at least be bigger than my Clone Wars videos.
You're like grainy Clone Wars video.
And it's like filmed in like 280 IP, like with all sorts of copyright infringement all over it because I used the Star Wars music. Yeah, so one day, one day, Emily will get there.
So when you were discussing kind of bringing the channel back up, what kind of content were you hoping to make? Did you want to revisit brick films, or how did that work?
Yeah, originally I was like, oh, I want to make stop motions and then maybe do reviews. And that's because, again, this was maybe around 2011, 2010 at the time. And, in my head, I thought Lego YouTube was the same as it was 12 years ago. And I was like, yeah, reviews. Everyone loves reviews. Everybody watches it. Back then I think you guys were around maybe back then too, but there was like the Brick Show, Brick Queen. Like those were the big, review channels. Eventually Jang came on the scene. But so I thought it would be easy to step into like the review space. No, not at all. Yeah, we learned pretty early that just doing reviews, you really have to kind of, again, make yourself more present. It's more about your personality, it seems, and then like incorporating that into reviews. So then somehow we kind of off trailed it. We tried the stop motion. Emily learned really quick how much time it takes for stop motion, and I was reminded of it, and I was like, I don't think I have the patience for this anymore. So we tried one stop motion film. It took like 5 hours and it only lasted 2 seconds. And so we decided to kind of move more into, at the beginning, Emily did a little bit more like news videos, and then just kind of started to learn that like, wow, I don't think we're approaching this right when it comes to YouTube, like just focusing on the Lego. That market's pretty saturated as is. So we kind of started incorporating more of our personalities into it. And so now, if you go to the channel, you'll see it's mostly vlogs is our biggest like content. And that's what a lot of people like to see, as well as just like, you can also think of it as vlogs of going around our different Lego rooms, showing our Lego City updates, and live streams. Emily does a lot of live streams, and I can let her talk more about where the channel's at now. But yeah, it's mostly Emily. I'm just kind of here. I show up in the vlogs and like, hey, and then I go play video games. So it's like 5% Ross and 95% Emily.
Well, you still have a day job, right? So you do have to kind of balance that.
Exactly. So I do have a full-time job outside of this. So it's always a juggle. Like, sometimes I'll get home and she's like, "Can you watch this video?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go lay down." But yeah, so it's kind of fun. So again, it's all her. I'm just along for the ride. Pretty happy though. Kind of worked out really well for me. Don't know how I got here. Like again, I mentioned earlier, young Ross would be pretty proud of me. I tricked Emily into getting into Lego by showing her the Scooby sets, the Disney sets, and some, silly, goofy things like that. And that's kind of how I indoctrinated her into it. And then I'm surprised it got this far, but I'll take it.
And speaking of your job, so I think you were both in like the data science type field, right? So does that have any impact on your like YouTube and content creation, or kind of your past professional experience?
Yeah, so I would say like it feels kind of weird. Like I have a master's in data science, right? But now I do Lego, and it's just kind of like on the surface you're like, okay, well, that was a waste, but like we've really thought about it a lot and talked about it. It's like, I feel like it really helps with like the analytics and like just teaching you how to think. And so like it makes us approach YouTube in a different way, I think, than some people do, where, if a video does well, we're like, okay, like let's think about this. Like, why did it do well? Like you're always learning. If it doesn't do well, you're like, what did we do wrong? Like, how can we improve? How can we make it more interesting for people, entertaining for people, clickable? And so, we do try to like incorporate that sometimes. Like going forward, we want to do more like Mindstorms and like robotic kind of stuff. Like with Ladybird, our dog, it's like, how cool would it be to like program something to like throw Ladybird a treat, like out of Lego? That would be so cool. So, trying to expand a little bit more into like the robotics and like more produced content like that. We did one study at one point, like a year ago, I think, about the different IP and how like the price differences are. Like, imagine like Disney Princess versus Friends. There's like that Disney markup, but like quantifying that. And we did our best with it. Like the best, I think Jang says it best, like, the price per piece isn't really great, but it's just price per like stuff, but with the data we had, it was like price per piece. So we did analysis and found out that like, Jurassic World's most expensive because like dinosaur molds, makes sense. Disney is more expensive than Friends. But it was kind of cool. Like someone from the New York Times, like a reporter there, found that video, and it wasn't a great video. It had like 5,000, 10,000 views or something, which for us was, not great. But yeah, it got picked up by them, and we got like a paragraph in the New York Times about it, which was really cool. It was like, wow, like, and then Ross is here like does actual science and publications, and then it's just like this weird thing we did on a weekend one time makes it into the New York Times.
Right. Yeah. Of all the things to get published in the New York Times, it was that. And so that was kind of an interesting one. But yeah, that was a way to kind of incorporate our data science background into it. But Emily touched on it. I think the Mindstorm stuff is where we want to go next and start like playing with the programming a little bit more. Getting, we talked about like making this interaction thing where if we're streaming on Twitch, people will be able to, use channel points or something and it'll throw a treat to the dog, just something silly like that. So that's kind of where it is. And then the other side is definitely being more analytical to our approach towards things. I think it really helps. Yeah.
And I think a big part of our channel too is like, and it's something very important to me is like, as a woman doing this, like, I was so scared joining because I was like, oh, I'm like the only girl here. Like, I think there were like 2 other girls in like the YouTube space. Like, there was a handful, very few women doing this. And so it's really important to me, and it like means a lot when I'm at these Lego conventions and I see girls there and they come up to me and they're like, I'm really into this. Like, it's so cool seeing someone that, looks like me. Like, I feel represented here. And so, kind of using that, like that influence in this platform to also like get girls into coding, and just showing like, hey, look, like I do Lego and I'm a coder and like you can do this too. And like how easy it is. Cause I was always scared of it. Like, before I did coding, I was like, that's frightening, that's scary and weird, but, just showing that how easy it is, especially like with the Lego approach with like robotics, like it's meant to be very hands-on and meant to be very, very approachable, very relatable. So trying to expand into that a little bit more is something in the books. Yeah.
That's perfect. You can kind of break down that barrier to entry a little bit and get more people involved. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, so I know you've been to Brick World Chicago recently. We were just at Brick Rodeo. What's your approach to kind of in-person events, and where do you think you'll go with that in the future?
Oh yeah, no, I loved it. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous, I guess, before Brick World, because that was our first time as being in the YouTube space as creators, and I just had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if it would even be recognized. Like, I had no idea how to handle, like, meeting people in person because, I'm just in this room alone, and that's kind of my job is, putting content out to the world on my own here. But no, like, there were times when I actually got emotional. Like, girls would come up or, like, one of the Lego masters and his daughter came up, and he was just like, you're such an inspiration to, like, me and my daughter. And I was just like, like I had to like walk away and like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool, and like you'll see comments like that, but it's different when someone like really approaches you and like tells you that. It's nice knowing that like I make Lego videos and it's like silly and goofy, whatever, like we're just having a good time, but it really does like impact people, and that's really powerful kind of seeing that. But yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing, like I didn't realize would happen. Just kind of like that emotional part of it, but also just like getting to meet people and like talk to them about their Lego hobby and like, oh, we love the bricks and minifigs videos or whatever, and they would like sing the song that we sing, and it's like, yeah, we're singing together. Like, it's just kind of cool to do like goofy stuff with them, and because they feel like they know you, like they feel like you're really good friends, and like I feel like that way with like creators I watch. I'm like, oh, like we're best friends, and it's like they don't even know who I am, but just kind of having that personal attachment to people, and trying to, I don't know, like make sure that, you spend time with them and like make sure that they feel valued and heard, and like that you do appreciate them watching, because I don't know, we wouldn't be able to do this if no one watched. So like that just means so much that we get to pretty much do whatever we want, like we make the content we want to make and then people actually watch it. Like that's so cool. So yeah, it really means a lot meeting everyone there.
No, that's something we love about going to shows as well, which obviously we go to a lot of shows to create content, but then also that's really the only place we get to actually meet the people that watch the channel as well. Very similar experience to what you said. It's just amazing to meet the like physically people that watch the channel and not just see like numbers and analytics all the time.
Right. Yeah, the analytics, like it's hard because, YouTube's very good about telling you like how good you're doing or how bad. Like it'll be like, this is your worst video recently. That sucks. And you're like, oh man, like the numbers are terrible or whatever. Cause it's all like quantitative. It's all numbers. But like remembering like even on that worst video, like there's still like thousands of people that are watching and they're like enjoying it and commenting, and it's they don't need to do that. Like I never assume anyone's going to watch it. Like I never assume like, people need to comment. Like it's on me as a creator to like make content that's valuable to people and that they want to watch. And so just, the fact that they watch it is really cool. I'm like, I get to take them along with me when I go to Target and like make stupid jokes and sing dumb songs, but like people like it, and that's so cool. Like I never thought that I would be doing this. This is crazy.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking us through all of the different spaces you have here in your home. I love that you have this much space to work with in the city. So obviously you've got the Emmasaurus YouTube channel, but what are the other kind of platforms that you're on? And if people haven't seen your work, where can they check that out?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube, Emmasaurus, Instagram as well. I'm it's.emmasaurus on there. Twitch, I'm Emma_saurus. And then I think TikTok, I'm it's.emmasaurus as well. So all different handles to keep it interesting. So, but yeah, trying to make a bunch of different types of content. So yeah, check it out.
You get 5% Ross as well. Perfect. We'll make sure to put links in the description below so you can check out all of those platforms. Thank you so much for taking us around here. This has been really great, and keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was so much fun.